I feel like I'm at a point in my life where if I don't mention this series, like, I go insane. So yeah, Boys of Tommen, Johnny Kavanaugh. Hey guys, what's up? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. I am here with soft hero, cinnamon roll, golden retriever type heroes. Okay, so I don't do a whole lot of recommendation videos like this because I do prefer darker types of books. Some of my favorite 5-star books happen to feature a different type of hero than what I normally prefer. These guys are not morally gray. They are not grumps. They are not alpha douches, anything like that. This is a soft hero, which some people also call cinnamon roll, golden retriever. There's a few names for it. I usually use the cinnamon roll hero terminology. These are gonna be guys that either are a little bit more sensitive. The things that they do for their ladies are like totally top tier. Some of them might be a virgin, some might not. This is just a whole different type of brand of man here, okay? So I think I have 5 or 6 books, but all of these guys are very top-notch. Okay, so first I have Most of All You by Sheridan. I read this last May, and I absolutely loved it. I think I loved it as much as Archer's Voice, which was one of my favorite books of 2021. And this was just equally as touching and heartbreaking with a couple that, like, belongs together, and they just kind of are meant to be together. You can, like, sense that from the beginning. I will say that this is going to be good boy, bad girl trope. So our story starts off with Crystal, and Crystal works in a strip club, and she meets Gabriel. She notices him sitting there. Right away, she's like, this guy doesn't belong here. He doesn't look like he fits in or anything like that. And then at the same time, you're getting Gabriel's point of view, and he's also saying that Crystal does not belong there. She doesn't fit in. Well, later, Gabriel ends up approaching her because he needs help with trying to get himself out into the world and dating, because he had an incident happen to him when he was a child, and he was kidnapped and kept like in a basement or something for some time. And obviously it's taken him time in his adult life to get reacclimated into the world. And so where we're at in the story is he's a virgin, he's never touched a woman, and so he thinks that going to a strip club and finding one of the girls to just kind of like teach him how to be intimate will help him. So he finds Crystal, and like I said, right away, they both have this like connection of both of them realize that both of them are too good to be there. And the story just kind of goes from there, and Crystal has this whole other deep, dark, twisted backstory that you find more out about. Gabriel, this has the take care of her trope in here, if you really like that, because there is something that happens that's really, really bad to Crystal towards like kind of beginning halfway point, and it makes it so Gabriel has to take care of her, and there's big time close proximity. But I absolutely love this story. It was definitely a tearjerker, but it does have a happy ending. I have Part of Your World. I love it. I know I've talked about it in a few recent videos, but it is still really, really good. And Daniel, our hero, is honestly what sells this story for me. So this is a reverse age gap, which normally I don't like, but once again, Daniel was the one who like just totally sold this book. So Alexis is a big time surgeon in the city, and Daniel is like this mayor type figure for his hometown, which is not too far outside of the city. When the book starts, Alexis is on her way home from a funeral, and her car gets stuck in a ditch. Daniel's the one to pull her out, and they end up having a one-night stand with each other. They both really like each other and have this instant connection, but Alexis happens to take a peek at his ID the next morning, and it just really, really freaks her out. Some time goes by, and Daniel is kind of able to convince her to have this friends with benefits type relationship with each other, because both of these two have a predicament where they're very important figures in their work lives, and neither of them can leave. Alexis can't leave the city hospital life because it's like a family legacy of surgeons, and Daniel can't leave his town either because it's his family legacy that's kind of been heading this town. And so you have that conflict going on. I will also say that Alexis's parents were very toxic and trying to push her to do things that just were not good. She also had a very toxic ex that was trying to get her back, and her parents were like pushing her to get back with him. But overall, I just really love this story, and the things that Daniel did Okay, I will say that there is a scene in this book where this man was crying for her, and it like destroyed me on the inside, okay? It absolutely destroyed me, but this was a perfect 5-star read for me. I feel like I'm at a point in my life where if I don't mention this series, like I go insane. So yeah, Boys of Tommen, Johnny Kavanaugh. Honestly, I think Johnny Kavanaugh is what like inspired me to do this list. When I first read Binding 13, I've read it twice now since November, and there is just something about Johnny Kavanaugh that is, I don't know how to describe it. If you've read this book, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But I will say this is a high school romance. It is set in 2005 Ireland, and Johnny is this star rugby god. He is set to go pro when he graduates, and he doesn't want any type of dating distractions. Then you enter Shannon, and Shannon is a new transfer student because she was severely bullied at her other school. She's also being severely bullied at home, but no one else knows this. And when Johnny first meets Shannon, he accidentally knocks her out with a rugby ball, and he kind of just takes responsibility and charge when he notices that there's just something very off about Shannon, and he wants to make sure that the bullying that happened at her old school never happens to her again. And also at the same time, Johnny is 17 when the story starts, and Shannon is 15, about to turn 16. And Johnny's really freaked out about that. He doesn't want to touch a younger girl. And so in this book, he has just all of these conflicts with how much he feels for Shannon, wants to take care of her, but he doesn't want to cross any lines. I will say this is part 1 in a duet, and it does end on a cliffhanger, and you are not going to get their happy ending until the end of the second book. But it is such a huge ride. Like, it's insane. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of trigger warnings. The things that Shannon has to go through is so brutal. But Johnny, the way that he swoops in and everything that he does for her and her brothers, there's just no man like it. And that is why, like, I always have to give him the credit that he is due. Then I have First Down. I read this in December. I really, really liked it. I've noticed it is starting to get noticed a lot more. It is a trilogy companion novel series. I think the 3rd book is coming out next month. But it follows brothers who go to the same college, live in the same house, but they all play a different sport. So the first book is going to follow James. And James was just another one of those guys, like, if you have a daughter, you want your daughter to meet this type of man. Like, he was so perfect, and I don't know how else to describe it. So I will say this book did remind me a lot of Blindside, but I liked it more than Blindside, and I think it was because of the reason that they were fake dating. So in this story, our heroine, she is being pretty badly harassed by her ex-boyfriend at the beginning of the story. He is a teammate of James, and James is very put off at the beginning of the story with how this guy is talking about our heroine. And James is the type of guy that is like, listen, we don't disrespect women. I don't want to ever hear you talk badly about this girl in front of me. I don't even know who she is, but don't do that. They meet at a party, and she's there, and she sees her ex-boyfriend, and she does not want him to talk to her. So she just grabs James and starts making out with him. James finds out that obviously that is the guy's ex-girlfriend, and he's like, I don't like the way he talks to you. Let me know if I can ever help you out with anything. So she takes him up on that to fake date just to keep the guy away from her. But obviously relations and feelings develop, and I really liked the story. And I will say it is one of those ones where at the beginning it's very evident that, like, James, football is his everything. I will also say that when the story starts, he had transferred colleges because he got in trouble at his old school for an incident with a girl where he put his football career on the line. And so when you get to present day, he's just kind of vowing that he's never going to do that again. His dad is very serious about it too. Like, his dad is like, do not let a girl mess with your dreams again. So it's just very interesting to see when you get to the turning point where James will put her above football. But he was just another top tier golden retriever boy, and I loved him. Okay, and then wrapping us up, we have Noah Rielly from Say You Swear. I recently read this. It was my first 5-star read for 2023, so I need to give him his credit, okay, because he is the full reason this book is a 5-star. So I will say, I think you need to go into this book blind. That's what I did. The only thing I knew was that it was a college football romance with a love triangle. Now, I hate love triangles. I refuse to read them, but this book has really been popping off lately, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance. I did, and I loved it. I will say it is quite an emotional journey all the way through. There were parts that I was crying, beginning, middle, end. It does have a happy ending. I do want to specify. So our three main characters are going to be Ariana, Noah, and Chase. And Ariana has known Chase her whole life. She's been in love with him her whole life, but he is her brother's best friend. He's always purposely stayed away from her because of that. And they all start college together at the beginning of the story, and that's when they all meet Noah. So I will say that is the setup of your story, but Noah Rielly, there were things, I would have to say the most tabs and highlights in here I have are of Noah Rielly quotes. I think my favorite quote in here, just to like convince you to read the book, is he says something along the lines of, I knew that girl was worth it from the moment I met her. And it's kind of a clap back at the other guy. And so, like I said, there's just a lot of emotions in this book. Noah is dealing with his mother being sick and taking care of her. It's just been the two of them his whole life. And so he's that good boy that takes care of his mother. And like I said, he's just perfect. Go into this book blind. Just read it. Take my word for it. You'll love it. Okay, so that will do it for my soft hero boy recommendations. Like I said, I normally read dark stuff, but if I can find a really, really good book with just this top tier guy that is just so kind and will do anything for his lady, I am willing to read it. So if you have any more recs that I did not mention, please drop them down below. And always like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.